Hi friends, in this video we are going to be working on lesson 14-1, which is line plots. So some things that you're going to need to have for this lesson is going to be a ruler and then some objects that you are going to measure, okay? So you're going to need that for your 14-1 Pearson online lesson. So I'm going to go over it with you here in this video and you can follow along with me, okay? So the first thing I want you to know that on a ruler, there are usually two sides. One side is inches. That inches is a unit of measurement. So we have inches on one side and we have centimeters on the other side. Now, what you might notice about inches and centimeters is that the inches, we can see from 0 to 1, look at 0 to 1 in inches, and then look at 0 to 1 in centimeters. What's different about that? I'm hoping that you're noticing that there is more space between the 0 to 1 in inches, because inches is a bigger unit of measurement. Okay, so that is what we're going to be starting with today, is inches. Something else that I want you to be aware of when you are measuring things. So you can see these numbers. It starts with 0, 1, 2, and it goes on and on. When you are measuring, you need to start at the very end of the ruler. If you start at 1, your measurement is not going to be correct. So you need to make sure you are starting at the very end of your ruler. So for example, if I am measuring this marker, I'm going to start at the very end, not over here at 1, because that's going to give me a different measurement and it's going to be incorrect. So make sure you're starting at 0. So things we're going to be discussing and that you will need to know: ruler, inches, centimeters, and how to measure. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, you can see I have a table here. So in math, a table is something different than a table you might know in the world, like a table you sit at for eating. Could be a table, or tables outside you might sit at, but this is a different type of table. This is a table in math that gives us information or data, okay? So here I am going to be measuring some objects, and the objects I'm going to measure are a straw, a pencil, and a marker. And I will be measuring the length in inches. So I'm going to be using my inches side. I'm going to start with my straw. So here is my ruler and here is my straw. I'm going to make sure I start at the very end of my ruler, and I'm going to measure all the way down. And when I look at it, I'm going to show you a little closer. When I measured it, here is the 8, here is the 9. Do you see this long mark here? That is halfway between 8 and 9. Now, my straw was not quite at that middle line, so I am going to measure it to the nearest inch, which was 8. If my straw had been longer or right at that middle line, I would have measured it at 9 inches. So we are going for the nearest inch. So if you are measuring something and it's not quite to an exact inch, you're gonna look for the nearest inch. So you're gonna look at that line in the middle, that longest line in the middle. And if it is before it, it's going to be the first number. If it is after it, it's gonna be the next number, okay? So mine was before that halfway, so mine was 8 inches. Now I'm going to measure a pencil, and I'm going to do the same thing. Here is my ruler, going to the very end, and it is, oh, this one is past that middle line here, and it's closest to the 6. So I'm gonna make it 6 inches. Even though it wasn't exactly on the 6 inches, it was closest to that. It's the nearest inch. And then I have my marker. I'm going to do the same thing. Here's my ruler, go to the very end. Oh, and this one is before that middle line. So its nearest inch is 5. So here are my inches. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to plot these numbers on a line. So almost looks like an open number line, right? But we're going to be plotting some numbers, and plot just means that's where I'm going to put my number. So I'm going to start with the straw. And how many inches did I say my straw was? 8 inches. So I'm going to go over here to the 8, and I'm just going to put a little dot. That's it, a little dot. Then I'm going to go to pencil. What was pencil? 6. So I'm going to go to 6 and give myself a little dot. And finally I had my marker. That was 5. And I'm going to plot my dot. So that is how you plot numbers on a line. Okay, let's try some more. So here I have a table, another table. This table has already been filled in for me. So some students had some crayons and they wanted to measure them. So we know after we use our crayons, they don't always match up. They're not all the same length. So these were measured. And here are the measurements for these crayons here. The orange was 5 inches. Purple was 3 inches. Purple got used a lot. And the green was 7 inches. So again, I'm going to plot my numbers. So I have 5, 3, and 7. Now I can use this information to answer some questions. So here, my question is, which 2 crayons have a total length of 12 inches? Explain. So when I look at these crayons here, which 2 numbers could I add together to make 12? 5 and 3, I know that's 8, so that's not it. I could try 5 and 7. I know 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. So orange and green, which 2 crayons have a total length of 12 inches? Orange and green have a total length of 12 inches because 5 plus 7 equals 12. This is what you're going to be working on in Pearson lesson 14-1.